Did you know that every 40 seconds, someone in the United States has a stroke? That's more than 795,000 people every year. And what's even more shocking is that up to 80% of strokes are preventable if you know how to recognize the early warning signs. Strokes are a serious medical emergency that can cause permanent brain damage, disability, or death. They occur when a blood vessel in the brain is blocked or bursts, cutting off the oxygen and nutrients that the brain cells need to survive. The sooner you get treatment, the better your chances of recovery. But here's the catch. Not all strokes have obvious symptoms. Some strokes are so subtle that you might not even notice them until it's too late. These are called silent strokes, and they can happen to anyone, at any age, and at any time. In this video, we're going to reveal 11 silent warning signs of a stroke that you should never ignore. These signs can appear up to a month before a stroke happens, giving you enough time to take action and prevent a major catastrophe. Keep watching until the end as we will share with you some life-saving tips you have to know. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 1. Sudden headaches. One of the most common silent warning signs of a stroke is a sudden severe headache that comes out of nowhere. You might feel like someone hit you with a hammer or like your head is about to explode. This happens because the blood vessels in your brain are either blocked or ruptured, causing a sudden increase in pressure and inflammation. Unlike a normal headache, this kind of pain doesn't go away with over-the-counter medication, and it can be accompanied by nausea, vomiting, or dizziness. If you ever experience this kind of headache, don't brush it off as nothing serious. It could be a sign that your brain is in trouble, and you need to seek medical attention right away. Remember, every second counts when it comes to preventing a stroke. Number 2. Vision problems. Have you ever noticed that your vision suddenly becomes blurry, dim, or distorted? This could be a sign that you're having a stroke. Vision problems can occur when the blood flow to the part of your brain that controls your eyesight is interrupted by a clot or a bleed. This can happen in two types of strokes: ischemic and hemorrhagic. Ischemic strokes are caused by a blockage in a blood vessel, while hemorrhagic strokes are caused by a rupture in a blood vessel. Both types of strokes can damage your vision and affect your ability to see clearly. Vision problems can also be a sign of a mini-stroke, also known as a transient ischemic attack, which is a temporary blockage of blood flow to the brain that lasts for a few minutes or hours. Transient ischemic attacks often happen before a full-blown stroke. That's why you should never ignore any changes in your vision, even if they seem minor or temporary. They could be a sign of a serious problem that needs immediate treatment. Number 3. Persistent fatigue. Do you ever feel like you have no energy, no motivation, and no interest in anything? Do you struggle to get out of bed, stay focused, or complete your daily tasks? If you do, you might be experiencing persistent fatigue, which could be a silent warning sign of a stroke. Persistent fatigue is more than just feeling tired or sleepy. It's a chronic condition that affects your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. It can make you feel weak, exhausted, and depressed for no apparent reason. But what causes persistent fatigue in relation to strokes? Well, it's usually a result of reduced blood flow to the brain, which can happen in both ischemic and hemorrhagic strokes. When your brain doesn't get enough oxygen and nutrients, it can't function properly and can cause symptoms like fatigue and confusion. That's why you should pay attention to your energy levels and seek medical help if you notice any sudden or severe changes. Number 4. Mood changes. Did you know that a stroke can also affect your mood? Yes, it's true. A stroke can alter your personality, emotions, and behavior depending on which part of the brain is affected. For example, a stroke in the right hemisphere can make you more impulsive, reckless, or indifferent, while a stroke in the left hemisphere can make you more cautious, anxious, or depressed. A stroke can also cause emotional instability, irritability, aggression, or apathy. If you notice that you or someone else is acting differently or experiencing sudden mood swings, don't ignore them. They could be a sign of a stroke. Before we continue, if you have been enjoying the video so far, Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss more videos like this. Number 5. Numbness or tingling on one side of the body. Do you have a strange sensation of numbness or tingling on one side of your body? Like your arm, leg, or face is falling asleep or going numb? If you have, don't ignore it. Numbness or tingling on one side of the body is caused by a disruption of the nerve signals that travel from the brain to the muscles and skin. This can happen when a blood clot or a burst blood vessel blocks the blood flow to a part of the brain, causing an ischemic or a hemorrhagic stroke. When this happens, the brain cells in that area start to die and lose their ability to communicate with the rest of the body. That's why you might feel a loss of sensation or movement on the opposite side of the stroke. It's a scary feeling, right? That's why you should act fast and call 911 if you experience any sudden or unexplained numbness or tingling on one side of your body. It could save your life. Number 6. Dizziness. Another sign of a stroke that you should never ignore is dizziness. Have you ever felt suddenly dizzy or lightheaded, like you're about to faint or the room is spinning? This could mean that your brain is not getting enough blood and oxygen, which can lead to a stroke. Dizziness can be caused by either an ischemic stroke or a hemorrhagic stroke. Both types of stroke can affect the parts of the brain that control your balance and coordination, making you feel unsteady or disoriented. Dizziness can also be accompanied by other symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, blurred vision, or hearing loss. If you ever feel dizzy for no apparent reason, don't brush it off. It could be a warning sign of a stroke in progress or an impending stroke. Number 7. Weakness in the limbs. This can happen on one side of your body or both, depending on which part of your brain is affected. You might feel like your limbs are heavy, numb, or tingling, or you might not be able to move them at all. This can make it hard to walk, stand, or hold things. You might also lose your balance or coordination. If you ever feel any weakness in your limbs, don't brush it off. It could be a sign that you're having a stroke or about to have one. Try to raise both your arms above your head and see if one of them drops down. Or try to squeeze both your hands and see if one of them is weaker. If you notice any difference, call 911 or get someone to take you to the hospital right away. Number 8. Memory problems. Do you have trouble remembering things that just happened, like what you ate for breakfast or who you talked to on the phone? This could mean that your brain is damaged by a stroke and is struggling to form new memories. Memory problems can be caused by either an ischemic or a hemorrhagic stroke, as both can affect the parts of the brain that are responsible for memory formation and recall. Memory problems can also make it hard for you to follow instructions, recognize faces, or find your way around. If you ever notice that your memory is suddenly worse than usual, don't assume it's just a normal part of aging. It could be a sign of a stroke that needs immediate treatment. Number 9. Facial drooping or asymmetry. One of the most common and recognizable signs of a stroke is facial drooping or asymmetry. This happens when the muscles on one side of your face become weak or paralyzed due to a lack of blood flow to the brain. You might feel numbness, tingling, or pain in your face, or you might not feel anything at all. Your smile might look crooked, your eye might droop, or your cheek might sag. You might also have trouble closing your mouth, blinking, or moving your tongue. So, if you ever notice any changes in your face, don't ignore them. They could be a sign that you're having a stroke or about to have one. Ask someone to help you check your face in a mirror or try to take a selfie. If you see any asymmetry, get someone to take you to the hospital immediately. Number 10. Speech problems. A stroke can also affect your ability to speak or understand what others are saying. This is because the brain controls the muscles and nerves that help you form words and process language. If a stroke damages the parts of the brain that are responsible for these functions, you might have trouble finding the right words, slurring your speech, or mixing up sounds. You might also get confused or frustrated when someone talks to you, or not be able to read or write. This sign is more common in strokes that happen on the left side of the brain, which is where most people have their language centers. If you ever notice any changes in your speech or comprehension, don't ignore them. It could mean that you're about to have one. Try to repeat a simple sentence, like the sky is blue, or I love my dog. If you can't say it clearly or correctly, have someone call 911 immediately. Number 11. Nausea or vomiting. Another sign that you might be having a stroke is feeling nauseous or vomiting. This can happen because a stroke can affect the parts of your brain that control your balance and coordination, as well as your digestive system. You might feel dizzy, lightheaded, or like the room is spinning around you. You might also lose your appetite or feel sick to your stomach. These symptoms are more common in strokes that happen on the back of the brain, which is where the cerebellum and the brainstem are located. These areas are responsible for regulating your movements, posture, breathing, and heartbeat. If you ever feel this way, don't brush it off. It could mean that something is wrong with your brain. Try to stand up and walk in a straight line, or touch your finger to your nose. If you can't do it without stumbling or losing your balance, you might be having a stroke. Now that you know the 11 silent warning signs of a stroke, it's very important to know how to act fast to save a life. According to the American Stroke Association, the signs of a stroke can be remembered by the acronym FAST. Number 1. Face drooping. Ask the person to smile. Is one side of the face drooping or numb? Number 2. Arm weakness. Ask the person to raise both arms. Does one arm drift downward, or is it weak or numb? Number 3. Speech difficulty. Ask the person to repeat a simple sentence. Is their speech slurred or hard to understand? Number 4. Time to call 911. If you notice any of these symptoms, even if they go away, call 911 or your local emergency services. If you suspect that someone is having a stroke, here are some tips for providing first aid. First, make sure they're in a safe, comfortable position. Lay them on their side with their heads slightly raised and supported, and loosen any tight clothing. If they're conscious, reassure them and monitor their breathing and pulse. If they're unconscious, check their airway and breathing, and perform CPR if necessary. Also, don't give the person anything to eat or drink, even water, as they may have trouble swallowing or choke. If they're taking any medication, such as blood thinners, tell the paramedics when they arrive. Finally, the sooner the person gets medical attention, the better their chances of recovery, so don't delay treatment. We hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Now, we want to hear from you. Did you or someone you know have some of these signs before? Was it actually a stroke? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.